through them with you.
Great.
Record it, send it to a few of the TV stations here too that have asked for it. First one, what did you think when you first heard there was going to be a cup race on dirt at Bristol?
My first thought was, how many loads of dirt are they going to have to bring in there to cover that place the way it should be? And I think someone told me it was 2,000 dump truck loads of dirt. That's unbelievable. And then to pull it all out of there for the night race, that's going to be a lot too. So that was my first thought. And then my second thought was like, all right, how are we going to make a cup car run around? So, I think there's a factor of, still being rule box as every single weekend. Different is dirt tires, and so I'll be interested to see kind of how we run around there. Have some practice on Friday and some heat races Saturday to kind of get your feet wet a little bit, I guess. And but yeah, I think it's just something different, and everybody excited to be a part of, and I think it's gonna be really exciting for the fans to watch too.
Okay. I think we might have a bad connection with you there. You kind of broke up a couple of times. Next question was, did you watch any of the Dirt Nationals event? And if so, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I did. I watched some of the Dirt Nationals there with the late models, and I was pretty jealous. Some of the Cup guys got to run that stuff, like Kyle Busch and Chase and Larson. But it looked neat. Those guys were hauling the mail around there. We won't be nearly as fast, I'll tell you that, as the late models. But and I was looking kind of at the track surface, kind of how rough it got, kind of where the groove was, just seeing kind of what maybe to expect, which, granted, the late models are going to tear the track up a little bit more than us just because they're going faster and they put a lot of load on the track. So I kind of took that of like, oh, it got rough here, here, and here, and be like, it might get as rough there in some places, but yeah, I was able to watch. Yeah, it was just cool to see, late models rocking around Bristol like that.
What's your background in dirt? Have you had much experience racing on dirt?
It's funny. People always think I grew up dirt racing, just because what my dad did and things like that. And they're like, oh, you must have tons of dirt experience. And the answer's like, not really, like not a ton. A handful of times I've been on dirt, from a 410 sprint car to, a dirt modified, big block modified. So I don't have a ton of dirt experience. I ran that truck race at Eldora a couple of years, the first and second year they did it, but not a ton. And, wasn't able to do really any dirt prep before this weekend. Just there wasn't any available. So yeah, not a ton, but I've been leaning on Dad a little bit, even though just kind of getting his insight a little bit on what he thinks. And but yeah, not a ton of dirt experience, but I'm gonna rely on my family genes of dirt racing to kind of maybe get me through this weekend.
Gotcha. You mentioned the Eldora in 2014. You finished third there. What do you remember about that event and just getting the heavier vehicle around the dirt track?
Yeah, that was we had a good run there in 2014, and that helped us out in the championship that year actually too. So I think that I think we can take a little bit of that. I can take a little bit of that experience and just being in a heavy stock car on dirt and kind of how they react and slide around on there and how the tire reacts. So I feel like I can take a little bit of that and apply it.
Do you feel like the guys who have the more extensive dirt racing backgrounds will have an advantage this weekend?
I definitely don't think it'll hurt them. I'm sure, Larson and Christopher Bell will be really good just because they have such good throttle control, and that's what you're going to need in these cars, to limit wheel spin and things like that. Newman, I'm sure, will be good. He has a pretty good amount of dirt experience. So, I feel like those guys will have a little bit of an advantage, but I think the car is going to be so different. The track's going to change so much. I could see the other guys, jump up in there as well. So it's just all about adapting, I feel like, to different track conditions. And those guys are great at it too. Get, a lot in the dirt stuff, moisture going away from different parts of the track and moving around. But yeah, I think it'll give them a little bit of an advantage for sure. Definitely can't hurt.
With the dirt race and more road courses this year, how much fun is it to see NASCAR trying new things with the schedule?
I think it's great, just changing up, some different events and weekends and adding new ones. Like from this dirt race to Circuit of the Americas, going to Nashville, going to Road America. I think that's great, and it gives the Cup Series different opportunities to go to other parts of the country and put on a show for the people around that area. I think that's great. So I'm looking forward to all the new stuff. And like you said, adding more road courses. I think that's great that we've added some more, from the Roval that we added a few years ago to now, a couple brand new road courses as well that the Cup cars have never been to. So I think it's great on NASCAR's part. I think it's just growing the sport in different areas of the country.
Your win this past weekend in Atlanta, is there any momentum that you can bring from that into Bristol?
You can't really apply too much from Atlanta to Bristol, but I think the momentum side is just, everybody's confidence being up. Honestly, we didn't have the best of starts to the year. The first two races were pretty bad for us. Getting in a wreck in Daytona and Homestead, and then the road course we just didn't run very good at. It's just nice to kind of start putting some solid runs together. So can't apply much, but the confidence booster from my side to the team side, that definitely doesn't hurt when it comes to racing week to week.
There's been quite a bit of parity this year, a couple of new faces in victory lane early on. Do you think there could be more than 16 winners in the regular season?
Yeah, I definitely think so. We got 6 different winners already in 6 races. So, and there's a lot of great teams out there, great drivers that win a lot, throughout the year that haven't gotten a win yet, that I'm sure they will. So yeah, it would not surprise me one bit if we got over 16 winners. So that's a big emphasis in staying up there in points. You don't want to have 17 winners and you're 17th in points out of the guys who've won a race. So it would not shock me if we have over 16. I think there's a lot of good teams and a lot of great drivers out there that can make it
happen. What has been kind of the chatter among drivers about the dirt race? Has there been anything that you've heard or text chains or anything that the drivers are talking about in terms of, I guess maybe the unknowns for the race?
Not a ton. Not a ton has been exchanged between like drivers, in a group chat or anything like that. There's a couple things, I think we've talked about as far as just the track in general. The guys who were able to run that late model race, we noticed that really down low, they had the white kind of turtle shells, I guess, of mounds of dirt. And I know a couple cars hit those in a weird way and kind of got them all jacked up. So we got talking about that a little bit of, hey, could we do something about this just in case one of our cars catches it? Are they necessary to be there? So that's really the only thing, was just kind of track stuff that we talked about. And NASCAR and Bristol, they've been listening, and taking advice, things like that. So that was really the only thing, nothing else as far as the actual races and stuff like that, just because all the drivers want to keep to themselves and keep the secrets to themselves. But that was really the only thing we brought up.
What is going to be your strategy going into the race?
Oh man, just try to run all the laps. That's the biggest thing. Staying out of trouble, logging info throughout practice, seeing where the track goes, and then your heat races. Try to make it through your heat race good and have a good starting spot. We random draw for our heat race starting spot, so you hope you draw probably mid pack because passing points apply. So if you could draw a 5th or 6th or something and try to get 3-4 spots there, that's really going to help you out and starting up front at the feature. So I think that'll be really big. So just, and other than that, just trying to keep your nose clean. That's the biggest thing that, you never know what can happen, but just trying to not make any mistakes and staying out of trouble. And you hope to be there at the end of these things.
And the last question, given the roots of NASCAR started in dirt, a lot of dirt races back in the 60s and 70s, would it be special for you to win this race?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think anyone wants to win kind of the inaugural, race of anything, whether it's like, I was fortunate to win that Roval and that crazy finish, the first race there. And yeah, if you could win the first ever dirt race at, Bristol in recent times, that's great. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of bragging rights. And so you're going to have a lot of hungry drivers and teams trying to be the first ones.
All right, Ryan. Well, we appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you out here at the Dirt at Bristol coming up this weekend.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thanks.